So I hope everyone is having a good morning so far. And on behalf of Regenerative X Association, I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to join. And this sharing session is part of our association's ongoing effort to inspire meaningful conversations and share insights that can drive sustainable practices. So I hope everyone will enjoy the sharing today, and feel free to ask any questions that you want in the chat box throughout the presentation for our speaker later. So I will now pass over to Dr. Lena V from Institute of Sustainable and Renewable Energy UNIMAS, who will introduce about herself and more on the topic today. So over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lena V. Kennedy, and I am from the Institute of Sustainable and Renewable Energy. So before joining UNIMAS last year, I was a chemical engineer in a sewage treatment plant, and also I have experience working as an environmental consultant, as a coastal and marine engineer. So it's an honor to be here today to share about to you this low carbon society, and with simple action, you can have a big impact. So let's be real, when people talk about going green or a low carbon society, the first thing that comes into our mind is that big corporations, governments, and policies. But today, I want to break that myth. So basically, living sustainably doesn't have to be expensive, complicated, but in fact, it can make you save money in the long run. Okay, so before that, I would like to share you the agenda for today. So first, we will start off by understanding what is low carbon and why it matters. Okay, why it matters reducing your carbon emissions, and why is it essential to sustainability. And then next, we will discuss Malaysian main sources of carbon emission, including energy, transportation, industry, and also identify areas for improvement. And then lastly, we will highlight practical steps that individuals can take to reduce this emission and then save money, and also from going to energy efficient, sustainable living habits. Okay, so what is low carbon society? Basically, a low carbon society is a community that works towards reducing carbon while also maintaining their quality of life. So basically, the goal is to minimize environmental impact while ensuring that our daily lives remain comfortable and efficient. So basically, we can all make a difference by asking a few questions. So first is, what is your mode of transportation? So do you rely on private cars, or do you have do you use public transport, or cycling, or walking? Lower carbon options like electric vehicles, carpooling, or even taking the bus can help reduce emissions. And then, how do you use energy in your homes or workplace? Do you leave lights or appliances when they are not needed? Basically, using renewable energy in the energy efficient appliance and reducing electricity waste can lowers your carbon footprint. And then, how do you use your water? Do you leave taps running unnecessarily? Or, and yes, it helps to reduce the energy needed for, conserving water helps to reduce the energy needed for water treatment plant to treat the water, which in turn reduce emissions. And then, how do you use your waste? Do you recycle, compost, or throw everything away? So recycling, basically reducing plastic use, and then composting can lower this emission. So if you are wondering how much impact your daily lives have on the environment, you can take this WWF carbon footprint calculator, which you can start to benchmark your carbon footprint. So you can visit this website later on. So this calculator will actually help you to assess your carbon footprint and suggest ways to lower it. So basically, to make this more relatable, I'll share my own carbon footprint result as an example. Okay, after using this calculator, my result came out 8.4 tons CO2 per year. The good news is that mine is below average, meaning that I'm doing better than many in terms of emissions. So basically, 8.4 is a significant amount, but there's a room for improvement. So your result, they also give you a breakdown of your carbon footprint. So basically, my total emissions are split into 4 areas, which is in my homes. The biggest contributor includes electricity and energy uses, and then food, the impact of what I eat, including food production and transportation, And then my travel, my transportation habits, such as driving, flying, and using public transportation. And then also my stuff, the environmental impact of things I buy, including clothes, gadgets, and other products. So basically, as you can see here, my home energy consumption is the biggest factor. So meaning that I have lots to reduce for my electricity uses. So now let's compare my carbon footprint with our neighboring countries. So looking at CO2 emission per capita in different countries, Brunei is at 20 tons. It's about 20 tons lah. And then Malaysia is about 8 tons. So Thailand is about 3.9, and Philippines 1.36, and Indonesia at 2.48 tons. So basically, my result is close to the result that generated from the WWF carbon footprint, stated that my result is close to the Malaysian average, which is 8 tons. So this confirms that many of us Malaysians are still relatively high in comparison to Thailand. Okay, so what does this tell us? So basically, this tells us that Malaysia CO2 emissions are still relatively high. Okay, China and Bangkok may have the worst air quality, but their total emission are influenced by their much bigger populations. So an average Malaysian daily habits contributes more to climate change than the average person in China or Thailand. This means that Malaysia has a smaller population. Individual lifestyle choices have significant impact on our carbon footprint. So based on my results, so there are a few actions that I can take based on this recommendation. So I will try to reduce my energy usage at home, and then make more sustainable food choices, and also rethink my travel habits. Maybe I should use public transportations or carpool whenever necessary, and then consume responsibly. So basically, buying fewer new products, try to recycle, and also reduce waste. Okay, so why does this matter? So as we can see from the news headlines on the slide here, Malaysia is already experiencing the devastating effect of climate change. So the most recent one is in flooding in Bintulu, was described as the worst in 30 years. This disaster actually shows that how extreme weather events are becoming more frequent. So in 2024, this is happening in Sabah. I witnessed it myself. So when I was driving along from Kundasang to KK, I saw few places was forest fire. There were few places there were forest fire along the way. So basically, in 2024, forest and bushfire in Sabah was recorded a staggering high of 961 cases causing massive destructions to the land. So the need to switch to a low carbon lifestyle is more frequent because these disasters are becoming more frequent nowadays with rising temperatures from high carbon emissions are causing this kind of disasters. So by reducing fossil fuels, saving energy, and making these small choices that we are making today, it can help can contribute to a lower carbon emissions and lessen maybe impact climate change. So we need to make that shift now. One good news is that a low carbon lifestyle is not just good for the planet, it's good for our wallets too. Okay, so here's how. So basically, we can lower our energy bills by using energy efficient appliances, and then also we can look into maybe into government tax and incentive. Malaysia is now introducing a green incentive to encourage sustainability and making it easier to adopt eco-friendly technologies. Okay, so now maybe let's go through this carbon emissions by sector in Malaysia. So we can see from this pie chart, CO2 emissions come from multiple sources, but the two major contributions stand out here, which is the electricity and then the transport sector. So almost half of Malaysian of total CO2 from Malaysia comes from electricity and also heat production. This is mainly due to fossil fuel dependence in power generation. And reducing this emission in this sector requires a shift to renewable energy sources like solar, hydro, and wind. Okay, and then the second largest contribution is transportation, because we heavily rely on private vehicles. So Malaysia high emission in this sector highlights the need for better public transportation with electric vehicles and also fuel efficient alternatives. Okay, So under the leadership of Sarawak Premier, Sarawak is actively positioning itself as a regional leader in low carbon solution. The green economy and circular economy initiative through strategic policies and forward-thinking leadership, the Premier is driving the state toward a more sustainable and resilient future. So to create a truly sustainable and low carbon future, every action counts and everyone has a responsibility. So the choices that we make today will determine the future of our environment, economy, and also our communities. So together we have the power to drive real change, but it starts with us, with simple everyday actions that we take. Okay, so these are the three simple yet impactful actions that individuals can take to lower their carbon footprint while also saving money. So this action require minimal effort, but also make a significant difference for both of the environment and your budget. Okay, first is reducing energy. Consider using public transportation whenever possible. And third is cash in recycling. Lastly, recycling isn't just good for the planet, but it can also put some extra cash in your wallet. Okay, so yeah, of course, did you know that traditional incandescent bulbs consume more energy compared to LED bulbs? So let's break down this into numbers. If you're a regular incandescent bulb for 5 hours a day, assuming the electricity is 0.18 per kilowatt hour, the monthly cost per bulb is 1 ringgit and 69 cents. But if you switch to LED, the cost drops about 0.36 per month. Okay, so not all so LED actually helps you to save money. Okay, so and it actually benefits the environment. So LED basically consume less energy, which means lower carbon emission over time. So these small changes can contribute to a greener planet by reducing overall energy and waste lah. Okay. So basically, you also try to consider buying electronic device that has this kind of ratings lah. Okay. And then research also shows that television in standby mode use 22.25 about 2% of the energy we consume when turned on. So over time, this adds up and increase your electricity bill unnecessarily. So for some tips, try to turn off appliances completely instead of leaving them on standby mode to save energy. Okay, when like I said just now, when buying home appliances, look for energy efficient labels that aim for a 5-star rated products. So higher star rating means the appliances consumes less energy and also leads to a long-term saving lah. Okay, so basically, for example, a 3-star refrigerator consume about 1242 kilowatt per hour per year, while a 5-star refrigerator only consume 900 kilowatt hour per year. So there's an annual saving of about 90 ringgit by choosing the more efficient mode. Okay. Now let's talk about essential appliances in most Malaysian home, which is an air conditioner. So how can we use them efficiently to reduce energy waste and then save on electricity bills lah? So did you know that air conditioning actually accounts for about 43% of our Malaysian homes, and then about 64% in office building, and that's a huge portion of our electricity consumption. But don't worry, with a few simple action, we can lower these numbers. So the first step is by adjusting the temperature setting. For Malaysian climate, it is recommended that temperature for energy efficiency is between 23 and 25 degrees Celsius. So setting the SC and the air conditioner too low increases energy consumption significantly. So keeping this within this range ensures comfort lah, and then also cost saving. And then next one that you want to do is that maintaining your air conditioner, because it is very crucial. It also affects on efficiency. So basically you will need to clean the filter weekly, especially if you use SE so much. So you need to keep it cleaner so that energy will be efficient in that way. So, and then you would want to schedule a professional's servicing at least twice a year to prevent bird buildup, which will also affect efficiency. And then if you are trying to buy a new air conditioner, maybe choose an inverter model basically, these inverter models adjust compressor speed based on the temperature, which helps maintain a consistent cooling level while saving energy. Unlike traditional models that constantly turn on and off, inverter actually reduce the power consumption without compromising this cooling performance. Okay, for this one, okay, with rising temperature now that we feel due to climate change, cooling our homes, efficiently is more important than ever. Okay, instead of relying heavily on air conditioning, we can use passive cooling strategies to reduce this energy consumption. So let's talk how this natural ventilation and smart home design can help us achieve a cooler home with lower electricity bills. So when buying or renting building or renovating home, we should consider design features that promote natural cooling. Like my husband and I, when we try to look for a place to rent, we try to look at these features because we don't want to be using so much of the air conditioner at home. So we try to find a place where the ventilation is good so you can actually feel the house is cold or it's hot by inspecting the ventilation when you first go your house house visiting And then, of course, you can surround your home with trees and fences to provide shades and reduce and direct heat exposure. Another way is that you install broad eaves or shading structures to keep the sun from heating your walls and windows. And then keep your building shaded throughout the year to maintain a lower indoor temperature. And then you might also want to use large window, louvers, or roof vents to allow natural air circulation that improves this ventilation. And then lastly, aligns a window strategically to take advantage of wind flow and also create this cross ventilation effect. Okay, for the next one is about transportation. So basically, smarter transportation makes us save money and also reduce traffic congestion. So basically, many of us rely on these private vehicles for daily commuting. But did you know this public transportation use is cheaper than driving in your own car? Okay, so you can save on fuel, no more sitting, no more, you can sit while you relax while commuting and is listen to music instead of focusing on driving itself. And then also you help to reduce the number of cars on the road, which helps lower air pollution and carbon emission. So as Sarawak Premier, he encouraged that more people to use this public transportation. And ART is expected to reduce Kuching transport carbon footprint by 50%. So he said a special fare will be introduced to make it affordable. As of now, I haven't found any yet detail of information about the fares that will be set. But I'm sure it will be reasonable rate to ensure its accessibility to everyone. So when it's in place, maybe I would encourage more people to take the ART. So basically, did you know that your cooking oil can be recycled instead of throwing it away? So today I want to share how recycling actually not only helps the environment, but also can be an opportunity for extra income. Okay, so many household drain and business dispose cooking oil by pouring into the drain. This leads to fat on oil and grease clog in the pipes, which will lead to sewage problem. Okay, there's this one case in KK where a restaurant tried to get rid of its used cooking oil without being noticed. Instead of pouring it to drain, where it might be seen, they flush it down the toilet, thinking it would disappear without a trace. But what they didn't realize that the oil didn't just washed away, but it traveled through the sewage system and cooled and hardened and sticking the pipes like a glue. So the manhole outside the restaurant become clogged and causing sewage to overflow to the streets. Okay, so creating a mess for the public and also the maintenance workers. So previously, when I worked in a sewage treatment plant, I see it myself that the operator had to return digging out the thick and hardened fat and oil and grease from the pipes. So the problems keep repeating every week. So it's hard. It's frustrating actually, but of course this is a clear reminder to us that irresponsible waste disposal doesn't just go away. It creates this ongoing problem to the community and to the environment. So basically, proper disposal, such as recycling this cooking oil, can prevent these type of issues. Okay, so this problem might seem small, but its consequences are widespread and damaging. Imagine what would happen if, like, because in the future, Kuching is going to have its integrated sewage treatment plant. And imagine if many people are throwing those used cooking oil into the toilet, and what happened to the sewage pipes in our later in the integrated sewage plant we're going to have in the future. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So basically now there's an active initiative to encourage household to collect and sell their cooking oil. So this is part of the circular economy where waste is turned to valuable resources. Basically, you can sell your cooking oil and instead of throwing it away. So this is one of the place for this week where they will sell the cooking oil. So you can basically just go to Petronas Samarhan Expressway to actually sell your cooking oil for, I think they sell about RM2.50 per kilogram. Okay. And then another place that you can sell, which gives a bit higher rate, which is RM305 per kg, which is in Bandar Baru Semeriang Commercial Center, which will take place tomorrow. So you can just go there and then just sell off your cooking oil and then buy a new cooking oil for yourself. Okay, so this is the initiative by MBKS Kuching on waste management. So basically, they also have this kind of program where they exchange cash for used cooking oil and then electric waste. So instead of throwing all of these things away, maybe you can try to exchange it for a cash lah. And then they also have this Takakura home composting workshop in which they will teach you how to do proper composting at home. Okay, I think this will be useful to manage your kitchen waste lah, instead of just throwing it away. And then this is the schedule for this from January to June this year. Maybe you can also look at their website. Maybe if you want to join the composting workshop, you can do this to the schedules lah. I think they give it for free. Yeah, this workshop. Okay, and finally, at Unimas, we are very committed to sustainability and environmental sustainability. That's why we have developed the Low Carbon Campus Roadmap 2030, a strategic initiative aimed at making Unimas greener and more efficient and sustainable university. So at Unimas, we are taking bold steps towards sustainability with our Low Carbon Campus Roadmap. Our vision is to become a low-carbon campus that embodies sustainable growth while fostering a culture of environmental responsibility. To achieve this vision, we have three key goals, which is becoming environmental responsible organization, and then being ready for the green economy, and then empowering active citizens for climate change action. Okay, so under the Unimas Low Carbon Campus, we are pioneering a sustainable future through the Circular Lab, a dedicated hub where waste is transformed into valuable products through workshop, capacity buildings, and then hands-on recycling initiative. Our mission is simple, yet impactful, because we try to reduce waste and promote sustainability by inspiring creativity in reusing materials. So at this Circular Lab, we take everyday waste that is generated in the campus and gave it a new life. For example, fabric waste, including old office materials, jeans, donated fabrics, is collected through a dedicated bin, which is the fabric bin, and then is placed across campus and upcycled into unique souvenirs such as stylish tote bag, luggage tag. Meanwhile, scrap metals is repurposed into elegant corporate gift, showcase our commitment into innovation and circular economy principles. Okay, so this is part of the Unimas commitment to sustainability also. We are proud to introduce that we have our own greenhouse gas dashboard. This is actually a tool to track and analyze and manage our carbon footprint in real time. So basically, this dashboard is an interactive platform that monitors our campus-wide carbon emissions, and also our waste generation, energy consumption, and also our transportation. So basically, it provides data-driven insight to help us make decisions on achieving our low carbon campus roadmap. So by monitoring this carbon emission, we can identify our areas for improvement and measure progress and take strategic action that reduce our environmental footprint. Okay, so yeah, so this is a sample of the GSG dashboard, which highlights the faculty engineering that it is producing this much of total carbon emissions. Okay, so with every great movement starts with a single step. So basically, every revolution begins with a simple idea. So today, the idea is clear. Small changes can make a big difference. So we live in a time of immense transformation. Our planet is heating up, and our air is polluted. But the solution is within our reach. It starts with us. So we are at a turning point. The choices we make today will shape the world for a generation to come. As the best part, a sustainable lifestyle is not only it's about a planet, but it's for a better you. So lower expenses, healthier living, and brighter futures, a true win-win. So today I challenge you what small step that you can take, because together this small action can create a big impact. So the time for change is now. The responsibilities is ours. So let's build a low carbon society, one action at a time. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Very short and sweet presentation. Thank you very much. But since we still have some time, I'm quite interested on the carbon footprint calculator. Perhaps maybe we can go through that together. Maybe we can look on, how to fill in the questions, because I think I had a quick look. So maybe we can,
have you filled the questions?
Yeah, we can go through that together so everyone can have a see at the questions as well. Yep.
This one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Perhaps if you could share the this website, we can go in and have a look at it together. Will that be okay?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just stop sharing first, kan?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Stop it. How do I check?
Okay, no problem. Maybe you can share a tab.
Oh,
or would you...
okay. Sure. Okay, can you see my screen?
Please. Yes. Yep.
Okay. So basically, how to say, we just view my result. I think I need to refresh.
Maybe we can take the quiz.
Yeah.
I can see. Because the questions are UK, right? So maybe we have to see how we can answer if you're in Malaysia.
Okay, so basically, this question one, maybe, this one is pretty straightforward lah, kan? So basically, okay, for example, for me, meat in some meals. Okay, and then in a week, how much do you spend from restaurant? For now, maybe we can take this range, maybe, for our Malaysia, for me lah.
Okay, so you have to do currency conversion.
Yeah, so look at the currency of the food you buy. How much waste is thrown away? Maybe 10 to 0%. Yeah, and how often do you buy locally produced food that is not imported? Mostly mine is locally sourced. Okay, what kind of vehicle do you travel in most as a driver or passenger? Car. Yeah, and then which of the best describe your vehicle the most? Small petrol. And then how many hours a week do you spend in your car or on your motorbike for personal use? Under 2 hours. How many hours a week do you spend on the train for personal use, including commuting? I don't travel by train. How many hours do you spend? How many hours do you spend? I don't travel by bus. Last, how many return flights do you have in total? Okay, next. This one, 0. Okay. What percentage of flights? Or none of them? Do you understand? Do you understand the question, Grace?
Yeah, but let's say for this one, what should be for this part? What percentage
Offset.
of your flight?
Oh, what does it mean? You mean? So
Yeah,
basically, when you take a flight, do you plant trees to offset them?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
So none of them lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what kind of house do you live in? So detached, semi-terrace. Well, mine is flat lah. This one is clear, right? The question is clear. Yeah. So flat. So how many bedrooms do you have? So mine is 2. This one is also clear. And then how many living house? For me is 1. How do you heat home? So ours is no lah. For now, it will tell you this. So basically, ours is no. So next question. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
We just use electricity for now. Okay. And then is your electricity if your electricity on green tariff? Green, no. Yes, ours is no.
For the green tariff, maybe can explain a bit on what the green
I think
tariff.
for now we don't have green tariff yet. Green tariff is about like, I think the European country is doing it now. For Malaysian, I don't think we have green tariff yet. Yeah, I think that one is that like you're using solar, right? Yeah, then you sell your energy to them if you have excess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have it for now. And the next question. So do you regularly turn off lights? Yes. So this one we just put it. How do you warm? It's not related to us. Below.
Yeah.
Okay. Which of these home efficiency improvement are installed in your home? Energy save, light bulbs. Okay, for now, yeah, I think that's all for me. For the last few months, have you bought this? This one is pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, pretty straightforward, yes.
Yeah. This one, mine is no. Next question. And the typical amount, how do you spend on clothes? Mine is monthly, maybe no. Yeah. In a typical amount, how do you spend on your pets? I don't have pets. This one pretty straightforward. In a typical month, how do you spend on health, beauty, and grooming products? Mine is very minimal. As you can see, I don't wear makeup. Okay, in a typical month, how much do you spend on phone, internet, maybe including Netflix? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 35. In a typical month, how do you spend entertainment, hobbies, gardening? Very minimal, this one. Okay. Which of the type recycle? Compost my coffee, papers. Papers no, tin. Yeah, for now. Okay. So there's this where are you based? So basically you just put I'm outside of UK. Yeah. And they will give you this rough of this estimation lah. Of course, this one is from a UK punya apa, but you have a more accurate calculator that you can use, but that one is very, it's very technical. You know, you need to know how many liters of fuel do you use for each month. Yeah, this one I think it's very it's just give you approximation lah, easy for you to see lah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of tools outside, but this one I think is the most convenient for me lah. I don't need to fill in the numbers. I just need to I just need to answer the questionnaires for me. Yeah. Is that clear? I think most of the questions are pretty straightforward. So basically, you just put I'm outside of the UK. Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't reflect the UK punya apa lah. Yeah.
The results over there, right?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Okay, so there's a few questions here. So there's a question from Tom. asking how to show ROI to executives on ESG.
How to show ROI to execute? Oh, because my area is not ESG, so I'm not sure how to answer you that. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And his next question is, are you Unima student on this calculator?
No. So far, most of them are aware, but not all of them lah. Yeah, the one that they have workshop with us, they will know about these tools. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if there are any more questions, feel free to type in the chat. But for me, I have a few questions as well. So let's say, for example, how can, let's say, government, the business, and community and the NGO collaborate to improve on the waste management as well as the recycling rates? Since we mentioned a lot about recycling initiatives and
For me, I think as a start, maybe we can have a lot of pilot projects, first to see what works and what doesn't work, instead of we try to implement the whole thing right away. Yeah, because we have a lot to learn from experience first before we implement the real thing. Yeah, so I think that will be useful to have a lot of pilot project, because each place has different types of communities, and then types of people. And then, yeah, I think by having a pilot project that we can understand our situation more. And then after having this pilot project, then we can use those experience to have a better framework at dealing with this waste management. Yeah.
all right. Just now we mentioned about the government tax incentives and rebates, right? Maybe any that you could share with us.
I think one of it is, I think it's in the Malaysian Green Initiative. It's about the cost incentive of installing solar panels, one of them lah. Yeah, but of course, in detail, you can go to the website to check lah on it. Yeah,
Okay.
but one that I know is that they will give you incentive when you want to try to install your solar panels at your homes. This one is for individual use lah. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Any challenges that you would foresee in implementing low carbon strategies, and how we can overcome that?
Okay, so one, from my experience, implementing these kind of strategies, of course, the people, the mindset of the people. Yeah, that's why I think that's the most challenging part when dealing with people. Of course, when dealing with technologies, you just can install the technology and it will works for you. But then if you want to manage people, that's the hardest part, I think. Yeah, I think it's good that you have this kind of awareness so that people are more aware of their actions and also their responsibility. So most people don't realize this, and I think that's the most. I think, yeah, dealing with people mindset also attitude is challenging lah for me, and I think awareness like this can go a long way lah when they are aware of their actions lah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So another question. What are some of the pain points this calculator addressed to implement a recycling program? And also his comment, people will do it if it is convenient for them. How to make it more convenient?
How to make it more convenient? The recycling, is it?
Yeah, and also pinpoints this calculator addressed to implement a recycling program. Maybe like sort of how the inputs here could help in implementing a recycling program.
It's recycling program for this input. Okay, sorry, I don't really understand the question. Can you give examples?
I think it's from Mr. Tom. Maybe if he can turn on his mic, maybe he can clarify further. Tom, you can turn on your mic if you want, if you could clarify some of these questions. Is he around? Oh, sorry, I can't talk right now. But his question is, yeah, what are some of the criteria that addressed? Yeah, implement recycling.
From this calculator, like people will not do it. Oh, okay. Too much effort. I think when you put in monies, I think some people will do it. To me lah, like there's a reward when you do recycling. Yeah, that's what I think most of the municipal council is doing now. I think that's a great initiative to get people to start lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess on his part is how to make it more convenient for them. So yeah, that's where working the municipals will be great. Councils will be great ways. Yeah. Okay. 5 cents per container, people still do it.
People. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's hard to like force people to do it. Like I think I think for me as a person, I would not do it. But then if I have the awareness, it takes some self-initiative to do it lah. Yeah, because the money is not big. So yeah, if I know my responsibility towards the environment, then I will do it. I think how to say, I think knowing your responsibility is important when you want to make people do this kind of stuff. Yeah, some people might not be aware of the importance. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think I have one last question. What are the top 3 changes that we can start making today to contribute to a low carbon society? So just a wrap up, key takeaway. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Grace.
Top 3 changes. Top 3 changes that we can start making today to contribute to a low carbon society.
Okay, so basically one is how to use your energy because as you can see, your energy consumption is contributing the most carbon emissions. And then of course your transportation, that is where the state is trying to push for the ART that we are currently going to have in the future, which will start I think it's going to be operable in this at the end of this year. And then another way is maybe start small by the recycling lah. I think that makes a great impact lah on our environment. Yeah, especially on recycling our used cooking oil. Yeah, I did. For me, I did it always lah because I know the impact and the consequences if I do not do it. Yeah, so to me, so we need to start somewhere. That is by knowing our responsibility first lah. Yeah.
A very short sharing session today. Thank you again to Dr. Danuti as well as our supporting partners. So have a good day, and yep, you're all good.
Okay, bye.
All right.